Alright, greetings and welcome to another LarpCraft How to LARP video series. And in this video we're getting ready to go to a LARP tomorrow, and it's from a different colony, so we're not hosting it, and which is great. On that note, you may be within a few miles of a few different colonies. And the beauty of LarpCraft is you're able to travel between the different colonies to different games hosted by different folks, and you're able to experience a different kind of gameplay, a different story, but you still gain XP. The system works the same, and it's just a different feel because it's a different group. So that's kind of cool. As we get ready, I just wanted to point out a few things. The evening before an event, I just like to go over all of my weapons to make sure that that the blades and everything are in good shape. This is a Calamassil, and you look for tears. I got some indentations here from letting it get super hot, and then the foam took that indentation and kept that. But it looks kind of cool. It's not ripped or anything, and it actually gives my blade a unique look. And that's something that you can do. I didn't do it on purpose, but it will happen. It's foam. It takes that shape. It's like most other plastics as well. So I look over all my weapons and make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. Tech inspectors are going to watch for that in the morning. So I'm also looking over all my gear, making sure that it's all good, and do a smell check, make sure it's clean. There's nothing worse than going to a game and your gear has been sitting in a backpack from the last game and you never cleaned it, and you smell like a wild animal because your stuff just stinks, and it can actually irritate your skin, and it's actually very unhealthy to do that, not to mention you're going to smell bad. So check that kind of stuff. Bringing some utensils. This is a game where we're going to have food, so I bring my my knives and tools along with me, and so we have something to eat with. And then for the shields and such, making sure that the shields are in good shape, and that the strapping is good, and that all my clothes are in good shape. That's just a primary thing that I look for. I print out my character profile sheet before I go to make sure that everything is good on my profile. I double check it to make sure that all my skills are on there that I need, and if there's something that's not quite right, I just message the skills training center, and they fix it pretty fast. It's going to be 85 degrees, so preparing with a lot of water. I'm going to be wearing armor. I volunteered NPC for this event, so I'm going to be I'm still going to be like a paladin. So they told me what they want me to do, and I read the backstory of what I need to know for that character. And then we're bringing huge bottles of water, and I also have a water cooler that I bring with. We're getting 4 people with the truck, so we'll be traveling 2.5 hours down there. And when we're at a game, it's a wilderness game, so it's like close the cattle gate behind you. You're in the middle of nowhere. So bringing things like toilet paper, bug juice, sunscreen, and tons of water and food and snacks. They do supply a light meal at the end, but to eat throughout the day is going to be essential. Ronan and myself are going to be we're going to be in our armor, so it's going to be doubly hot for us. And Ronan has a gambeson that is a winter gambeson. So I may give him my gambeson because it's more of a summer gambeson. And so he can be more comfortable wearing his armor because he's got more armor than I do. And he wears his chain mail underneath his full plate, which really can, it's heavy and it can be very hot, especially on an 80-degree day when it's 100% humidity. And you just can't sweat enough to cool yourself down. So those are some of the things we look for. In my bag I also carry a first aid kit and mosquito, snake bite. Depends on where you are. but you want to carry stuff to ease insect stings, and make sure that you tell somebody if you're allergic to any kind of a sting. I scouted the area, and there might be a poison ivy and possibly poison oak if you go off the trails and do a lot of bushwhacking. So, and it's spring. So in spring, there's a lot of ticks up here in Wisconsin, and this is their prime time. So making sure that you have off and treat your clothing, and we'll do other videos on that and how to do that, how to treat the clothing and such for that. But recently on the LarpCraft site, we had a couple of guys saying stuff about boots and how it's not really a big deal, but really it is a big deal. And having a good pair of boots, this is a Son of Sandler peasant boot. It's their very inexpensive boot, well, literally inexpensive for them, but probably a shell shock for some of the new LARPers. A couple $100 for a good pair. But one of the things we're really looking for is really good tread. In the realms, it is a lot of times it's muddy. We're going to be in a swamp. It's part of the actual quest is to venture into the swamp area and find things that are kind of like a bad guy orcs. They have their own history and story and all that stuff. So our NPCs are actually the good guys going in and fighting against them and exploring and figuring out where these characters and creatures came from. So having a good boot that's over the ankle is really essential to not rolling an ankle or spraining an ankle. And again, we're playing in uneven terrain all the time. And most people, 90% of people, have a good hiking boot, and then they just throw some leather tabs over the top. This is the full immersion game, so if I brought sneakers, it wouldn't be allowed, and you'd pretty much be stuck with a town roll, or you'd get yellow banded. So we've seen rolled ankles. It happens, and you slide down hills, it starts to rain or something, and you're crawling over rocks, and you're adventuring, you're questing, and a lot of these things, a lot of the impact and where your ankle will turn will dictate if you're going to get hurt or not. So if you got really good ankle protection that's tight, you can manage that, and that's the key goal here, is to come back and fight another day. So we wear good footwear for that reason. Yeah, so checking all the gear out, making sure that everybody's aware, and another common courtesy that seems to elude some people is if you have a driver and you're carpooling, offer the person gas money. That's just a common courtesy. It seems some people forget that, and that's just not right. So, whether they take it or not is up to them. It may only be a 5-minute ride, so then it's not a big deal. But like I said, this is a 5-hour round trip, and those kind of things matter when you're trying to carpool. So it might rain. It's going to rain a lot tonight. So again, we're taking the truck because this road, if we took a car, it might get stuck. There's a lower parking area and an upper parking area, and I don't want to walk with all my gear. So and having a good gear bag too, a satchel is good to carry a lot of gear. Once you get into it, and once you get a lot of gear, having a good gear bag is really a good thing to have. So once all my gear is checked and I have everything pretty well situated, I'll go through again my character sheet and the story for what they posted for that event, and make sure that I understand what it is I'm doing. And then when I get to the event, I'm going to look for the certain areas and try to interact with a lot of the NPCs and PCs to make sure that this is a role play game. It's not just a fighter game. So really getting into figuring out where the adventure areas are, where the battles might be, what risks present the PCs, and trying to be as proactive as as part of the community as I can is really what we try to do. So I don't know, just thought I'd make a little video doing some helpful tips. Just showered up, getting ready to pack it up and get ready for a good day of fun tomorrow. And if you have any questions about this or anything else, drop us a line on the scrolls.larpcraft.com for the medieval system, and we'll be there to help you out. This has been Artenin doing a pre-game check and getting ready to go to a different colonies game. We'll see you on the field.